Hey guys, if you're new here, my name is Kate Lewis and I used to say I was a show jumper, then I said I was a kind of sort of show jumper, but now I'm just a mess, okay? Not even a hot mess, just a mess. You guys have seen the title. I sat down to do something completely different today and then changed my mind at the last minute and thought, you know what? Instead of spreading some joy and love online, let's sit down and read a bunch of hate comments together. So having started my online platforms when I was about 12 years old, it's fair to say I've received a fair bit of hate over the years. And fortunately, you know, I've grown a pretty thick skin and I'm happy to say that it really does not affect me at all anymore. In fact, I would go as far to say that some comments actually provide me with some light entertainment. So we are delving back into the past and the present as well to read through some of my hate comments over the years. So let's get right into it, because I am so excited to spread some hatred amongst the world. So we're going to be starting with a platform that I don't actually use anymore, and I don't know anyone that does, but it was a platform created to spread nothing but love, joy, happiness, and a whole bunch of anonymous bullying. That's right, it is Ask FM. If you're not familiar with what Ask FM is, or was, I should say, it is still a thing. But it's a thing that I literally don't know anyone who uses still. So if you don't know what it was basically a site where you made a profile and then a bunch of people could ask you questions anonymously. What could possibly have gone wrong? It basically turned into a mass bullying site that pretty much all children my age were encouraged strongly not to use. There were massive things in assembly at school that said don't get an Ask FM because they're horrific. So, but of course, back from 2013 to 2015, I had an Ask FM. And we're gonna delve into some of the lovely responses I got on there. So I didn't actually scroll all the way back to the beginning of my account because I think I answered something ridiculous. It was like 4,000 questions I answered. So I made it partially of the way down to 6 years ago. So this was like the beginning of 2016. My last year on ponies had just come to an end. So yeah, Bob had retired and Nero had jumped a full season with me. As a pony, obviously, we moved him up to horses when I moved up into seniors. But yeah, just to put it into context, that's the kind of era that these questions have come from. Just because Nero can jump round 150 courses and Bob can't now, but he decks you multiple times at one of the most important shows of the year, and I've never heard of Bob do such a thing. I preferred you two when it was just Bob and Kate, but now it's Kate and Nero and Evie and Ziggy. I think this is referring to Pony of the Year show because that was the first time anyone ever saw Nero stop, and he rarely stopped, to be fair. I think at the time we had a really bad farrier and he actually had a foot imbalance when we left Pony of the Year show, so he'd sort of landed funny and freaked himself out, and he stopped in the Grand Prix at Poise. He only stopped once and I fell off, and that was the only time I'd fallen off him to that point as well. So a little bit of an overreaction to say I fell off multiple times at one of the most important shows of the year. Oh, actually, no, I did! I did fall off multiple times. I fell off twice because I fell off Nero, and then I also fell off Ziggy. So she's actually right. I hate how you complain about your life to certain people. Say you're depressed and act like it's normal. Like, yeah, being depressed is one thing, but complaining about your life when you live the dream? Like, why don't you just admit you live the dream? You must be wealthy, but at least appreciate it. Oh dear. You can be depressed and still be fortunate and lucky. There's some multi-millionaires in the world who literally could not want anything else but happiness, and no matter how many things they own and how many things they buy, they can't find happiness in things because that's not how depression works. Just sell Bob, please. He'll have a better and more loved home, and you'll have more money to spend on Nero, so it works out perfect for you. Bob lives on site at your house and Nero is at a different yard. You're saying it's easier to travel there and get someone to take pictures of Nero at a different yard than just to go in your garden and take pictures of Bob. Lol, shut up and stop trying to act so naive. You prefer Nero to Bob, so just admit it. Oh my god! So, at the time, we only had 5 stables. We just put up a new block and we had Dreamer, Bob, Timmy, Joey and Jerry, the donkey. So we were all full up. And our next door neighbour, who lives literally like 50 metres down the road, had some spare stables on her livery yard. So that's where I kept Nero to begin with. Some of these responses are just insane. She then continued with, "You only post pictures of Nero, Ziggy, Evie 24/7, the overpriced show jumpers that deck you off and embarrass you at the biggest pony show of the year live on TV too. Money well spent, eh? It's not just Bob, it's Joey and Dreamer too. Hun, last time you posted anything of your fave boy, Dreamer, was like 15 weeks. I can't even, why can't I read? How does that say 15 weeks in any way, shape or form, Kate? For God's sake, pull it together. Hun, last time you posted anything of your fave boy Dreamer was 14 weeks ago. So I just don't understand why people were so angry. Like, just because I didn't post pictures of Bob, Joey and Dreamer all the time. Do people not realise that when I go out to shows, that's when you're most likely to ask someone to video and to get videos and photos, professional photographers at shows, people videoing your rounds, that's where you're likely to pick up the most content. That's still where I pick up the most content now. And yet this person seems so triggered that was the content I posted. I'm sorry. Oh my god, your jumping on Evie makes me want to cry. You don't even fold on jumps and you like slump so hard on her back on the landing, like she looks so stiff because of it. Okay, my position on Evie was quite bad to begin with, but she was a horse. She was my first proper horse. Like, all I'd had was ponies, or, I mean, Dreamer was technically a horse, he was 50-1, but he moved exactly like a pony. He was in no way moving like a horse, and he held himself like a pony as well. Evie was the first, like, horse that I got, and yeah, she was quite hard to learn how to ride. She's very straight-backed, and on landing, she always planted her head down. I did slump forward a little bit, so not gonna lie, this person's low-key right, because this was right when I first got Evie, but it's a bit sad that that made her want to cry. Forget the children in Africa, don't cry about them. Cry about Blob the Cob's position. Then someone asked me, are you sure you've jumped 160 on a pony before? My friend is a professional in America, and the highest she's jumped is 150 on a big horse. And I replied, yes, only a single fence, not a course. This was on Bob. I went and hired a local arena to us once, and we jumped a little, like, Chase Me Charlie, and I popped him over a 160 fence, and he was insane and it was great. If I can find the video, I will post it now. So that person then responded, think you'll find JAs go up to 145 max, honey. Been doing them for 3 years now. Don't try and make yourself look amazing. I said I've jumped 160 as a single fence, that's not a track. Come on! If you've been doing JAs for 3 years, then you would know that. So JA tracks are British show jumping pony tracks for like top ponies. So a pony that's a JA has won a certain amount of money, quite a lot of money to make them a JA. And then they are eligible to go and jump JA tracks. They don't have to, but they are then eligible to jump the JA tracks, which are 135 in height in the first round, and can go up to 140, 145 in the second round, and quite a few of the finals are 145. I don't quite understand what she was getting at, because I literally said in the question that I answered her, I only jumped it as a single fence, not a course. So why is she still having a go at me? Your actual jump position was a lot better before you got Nero. Before, you actually folded and gave with your hands, but now you literally just sit there, especially on Nero. Yeah, because I never gave with my hands on Nero. It's a bit sad really, as you'll never feel the accomplishment of winning on a horse you had to produce yourself. Bit sad really, as most people these days have all the gear and no idea, and will never feel the pain of schooling or failing on a non-ready-made pony. Come on! Why did you buy Ziggy if you're just going to sell him a year later? Poor pony being shipped around. So when I bought Ziggy, I originally bought him as a project to sell. So I produced him throughout my last year on ponies, and when it got to the end of my last year, I kept Nero and I couldn't afford to keep both of them. So I put Ziggy up for sale and I sold him. Joke's on me, because 6 months later I bought him back for the same price, so... And he's hardly been shipped around, for God's sake. I bought him back 6 months later and he's been with us ever since, so I think he did alright. You looked so out of place at Hoy's. The other pony show jumpers were unreal and looked like they were meant to be there. You just looked out of place and rode like benefits of having an amazing pony, huh? I mean, she's not wrong. So we move on now from the magical, kind and beautiful place that was Ask FM to an even better place on the internet. Somewhere that still spreads joy and kindness and love even to this day. Facebook. Specifically a page I've been featured on a couple of times, dedicated to spreading joy throughout the equine community. The Horrible Horsemanship page. So in 2018, a few months I think before Nero fully retired, I posted a video that I will show here of him jumping round at Richmond. He jumped around, I think it was a 110, or it was either a 1.5 or a 110 or something, and he was very fresh, very exuberant, very difficult that day, and yeah, it was just a particularly spicy round of Neros that went down like a lead balloon online. That was painful to watch. Hot horse and poor riding. I see a very hot horse and a rider who doesn't know how to handle him, or just isn't doing it well this round. You don't control a hot horse by hauling its head up. They both look at fault. Alright Nero, I'm going down, I'm taking you with me. Personally, I don't like the way she rides that much. My favourite show jumper is probably Ava? Ursin? Ava rides beautifully. There's worse things out there, but popular riders influence others, and I don't think she's a good example. That's a shame considering what I do now. So I think I've had enough of Facebook for now. So I say we head over to Instagram, particularly my Instagram DMs. Now this is quite a recent one. So the other day I had a photo shoot in which we also took a few videos, and I haven't ridden Nero in a couple of weeks and the fields were bone dry, so I took him down to the bottom field and we had a play around down there. And Nero was wild, and we got this very entertaining video of him launch bucking down the side of the field. Now most of you loved the video. A few of you disagreed. Now, if you've been following me and the horses for a little while now, then it'll be no surprise to you how exuberant Nero can be sometimes. It is just how he has always been. So I just want to very quickly run over all of that for you guys. So I have known of Nero since 2012, but I know his history right back to when he started his ridden career with a girl called Zoe. And there are literally videos of him from back then doing exactly the same thing, and every one of his riders, everyone that has known him has all said and has videos of him doing exactly the same. So it has been a behavioural characteristic that Nero has taken with him throughout his entire life and his career. And that characteristic is that he bucks, basically, a lot. Now Nero has been checked over by vets, physios, chiropractors, you name it, at every home that he has been to, and nothing has ever been flagged. He's actually been checked by multiple vets with us alone at one of the top practices for veterinary in the UK. So there is no medical reason for his bucking. He has been scoped, he has been x-rayed, there is nothing to see, there is no medical reason that would explain his bucking. That is just him and who he is, and further evidence to back that up just from his characteristics and everything alone are that he rarely bucked mid-round, he jumped 135 pony show jumper tracks. There's not many ponies that would do that if they were in pain or suffering in any way, shape or form. I could rant on about this all day long, but finally I just want to say as well that having ridden Nero, his books are incredibly easy to sit to, and whenever you're unbalanced or something happens, he stops immediately, lets you rebalance yourself, and then continues. If he was in pain, it would suggest he was booking to get you off. I've never fallen off from him booking. Nat's only fallen off once. I don't think Sophie ever fell off from him booking, and I don't think Zoe did either. So surely if he was in pain with his booking, he'd be trying to get you off, and if he really wanted to, he quite easily could. Nero is just a spicy and very exuberant pony with a big personality, and I love him, and I will always love that about him, because it's him, it's who he is. So after posting this video, I received a few comments, which resulted in me blocking maybe 2 or 3 people, not many people from the comment section. Most of the comments were just supportive and, you know, found the video funny, which was the whole reason I posted it in the first place, was because we found it quite funny, because that's Nero, and, you know, he was very exuberant, and he's 22 years old now, and we thought it was funny that at 22 years old he's still throwing these shapes and things, and he's still feeling good enough to do so. So I received this message shortly after I'd blocked a few people. Hi Kate, so I have multiple accounts on Instagram and was following you through one of my others. I left a comment about Nero being in pain and you've deleted and blocked me. I don't think it's very credible or authentic to delete people simply because they express an opinion that you don't agree with. My comment wasn't unkind, rude, or nasty. She was literally having an argument with someone in the comments below, and I just didn't want the comment section to turn into a mass of arguments. It was an opinion. Perhaps if you've spent so long receiving negative comments and nasty messages about Nero, it would be better to post videos that don't get that sort of response. After all, we can't all be wrong, and I totally get that you've had him investigated by vets, physios, and chiros. Get it wrong, a lot. It's so sad that you take people's concerns as nastiness when they are just demonstrating care and concern. I will stand by my viewpoint and you will stand by yours. I've followed and supported your page for a very long time and donated when your other horse was ill. Very sad indeed. So I rarely respond to these messages, but for some reason this particular person triggered me and I was in a ratty mood, so I responded. Hi, you are entitled to your own opinion, and you can express your opinion however you like, but I am also entitled to block anyone I like from viewing my account. Nero has received x-rays, scopes, and various other examinations with each of his owners to rule out any conditions that may cause him discomfort, and nothing has been found. Even in his retirement, he still receives support from physios, vets, and chiros, etc. to ensure his comfort in every way. The vets we work with have multiple vets working for the same place, therefore he has been seen by at least 8 or 9 vets over the time we have had him, who have all also seen him under saddle. Nero walks, trots, and canters completely normal in the school. He just doesn't school much anymore as he is retired. I understand your concern, but having had Nero for nearly 8 years, I take great pride in saying I really do know the pony inside and out. He is a happy, healthy, and content pony. I blocked you because even after explaining the above, you continued to express your opinion across my platform publicly. As it is my platform, I am well within my right to block people who I don't feel should be able to see my content. I thank you for your support with Dreamer if you donated. As I've said many times, I am blown away by the support we received and will always be so incredibly grateful. However, your support previously does not mean you can expect to be immune from ever being blocked, etc. in the future. I hope I explained the above well, and we can now move on. Kate. She then responded, I assume you blocked everybody who expressed their concern on that post. And you don't know the name of my other account? I only expressed my opinion in one comment and replied to someone on that comment who shared my concern. I didn't see any of the info that you have shared above about having him investigated, presumably because I had been blocked by then. I think for your sake, when you post videos or photos of Nero behaving like that, you should pop a disclaimer in to say that you've had him thoroughly investigated. It's actually a compliment to have followers who care enough to share their concern, and a simple disclaimer might prevent this from happening. I am all about the horse, and with as many followers as you have, you're going to get people who share their worries with videos like that. I don't think you should take offense. Just take some time to explain. You'd look far better for it. You'd save yourself a ton of hassle if you posted the videos of Nero behaving quietly when ridden too. So I don't block many people on Instagram at all. My list of people who are blocked over the years has probably accumulated to 30 or 40 people, which, considering there's 150 something thousand followers on my account currently, is not that many people. The only reason I would block someone on Instagram is if they are continuously causing a problem on the account, so continuously causing arguments and filling my comment sections with tons of arguments. If they're commenting something rude, sexist, racist, homophobic, they will get blocked. And if they have messaged me privately with something that's particularly mean, and by mean I don't mean someone expressing an opinion, I mean someone who's like telling me to do a front flip off a cliff or something. Like, they're the kind of people who I will block. Occasionally I will also block someone who, after explaining something to them multiple times, is very defiant and not only disagrees but feels the need to attack me because they disagree on the certain topic. I just think if they feel that strongly about something about me, if they feel such a strong dislike towards me or a strong opinion that I have, then my account shouldn't really be of any interest to them anyway, so why should they have to see it? And I don't believe I should have to post a disclaimer on every video of Nero, when most people are quite happy to watch him and accept him for who he is and not question things. I completely understand that some people will view these videos of Nero, and if they don't know him and they don't know his history prior, they may think, oh, that's a bit weird. And I encourage people to be concerned about horses' behaviour when it's like that. But there are certain ways you go about it, and I am a strong believer that if you see a video of someone riding a horse or a horse in general that you think that there is a cause for concern with, then message that person privately and be nice about it. Because at the end of the day, you don't know that pony or horse, and you don't know their situation, and you don't know the person. So if you see a video that's of concern and you message that person saying, hey, I hope you don't mind me messaging, but I've just seen this video and I was just wondering why this, that and the other, I hope you don't take this message the wrong way, etc, 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 then that person is way more likely to get back to you and say, hey, thanks for the message, no worries, I completely understand your concern, this pony or horse is this way because ABC, and that's it. Whereas if you message someone saying, your pony is clearly in pain, you stupid bitch, then you're probably going to get them to block you. So I responded to her, I did, yes. And if I see comments that are either beginning to cause arguments in the comment section, I do tend to block all those involved. I don't want my feed to be filled with arguments. I do not need to put a disclaimer on every post of Nero. I don't get many messages and comments etc. nowadays regarding him, as most people know him well. However, when I do, as long as the person messaging is rational and accepting once I have explained him to them, I won't block them, we just move on. I don't have many recent videos of Nero schooling, as he is retired from competition work and never enjoyed it much. He just hacks a couple of days a week now. He is 22. So obviously back when Nero competed and he was out doing things, he schooled a couple of times a week. But now I very, very rarely school him. He maybe rides in the arena 2 or 3 times a year. Like, he's 22 years old and he retired with an injury. So when he retired, it was because he'd slipped his deep digital flexor tendon off the back of his hock. I think I have spoken about this in other videos, and he is recovered now and he's absolutely fine. But if I'm riding him in the arena and going around corners all the times and circles and things like that, then it just makes it slightly more likely that he might irritate that injury and it could cause it to flare back up again, and I don't want that for him. And I know that sounds silly when he does all the booking and everything, but the way I see the booking is he doesn't actually do it all the time. Sometimes I'm out for hacks and he doesn't book at all. And whenever he books, it is only when he is feeling well enough to do so. So in his retirement now, I kind of just let him do his own thing. If I take him down a bridle way and he wants to book, then I know he's having a really good day and he's just having fun and throwing some shapes. And if he doesn't, then he's not feeling like it that day. I don't make him book, I don't make him not book. I just let him do his own thing and be happy because he's Nero and he's done so much for me. He's 22 years old now and he deserves to retire and be happy. She then replied, very unaccepting of what I'd said, so I ended up just blocking her anyway because I'd had enough of the conversation by then. This video is probably ridiculously long by now, but I wanted to finish by heading over to good old YouTube. Now, there's not that many negative comments on my YouTube, but there were a few good ones that I found that I thought I would just share on here real quick to finish with. A personal favourite of mine, on my day in the life video I posted a few years back, includes this comment. "You ugly bitch, it's cruel to keep bunnies in a cage. They haven't got enough room to run, jump, or binky." What the heck is binky? Am I being dumb? Is that a thing? If you know what binky means in reference to rabbits, then please comment below. No matter how many times you take them out to play, you should put him in an exercise pen, or puppy pen, as they're called, so they can run, jump, and binky. Because you're so cool, it doesn't matter what the pet shops people say. They just want you to buy things. That's why you're better off buying an exercise pen / puppy pen, so that the bunnies can be happy all day long and night. You What a lovely, unjudgmental comment. All I can say is at least she only judged me on the way that I keep rabbits and not something I can't change, like my appearance or anything. I love the internet. By the way, I actually keep my rabbits in a shed, quite a big shed, and they have half of it each because I have a male rabbit that isn't castrated, and I spoke to the vets recently about getting him castrated, and they said it was quite a risky procedure at his age. He was a rescue when we got him, so he's an older bunny, and I didn't want to take the risk with him. So they live next door to one another, and they have like a mesh partition in between them so that they can communicate and be together that way. They also have ramps and playpens and tunnels and things, and they have no ceiling, obviously, like, well, they have the ceiling of the shed. So I wanted to finish this video on a particularly special comment that has gone down in history in my family. This is a comment that we loved so much that we actually reference to, and it has now become a nickname to me through my family members and close friends, and that is, "Jumping equines is abuse. You absolute pig barn witch. You should be banned from contact with all animals." So I actually researched this comment to try and find out what a barn witch was, and I will put the definition up here, but it's basically like a know-it-all person on a yard that's like telling people what to do all the time. So I thought, hey, maybe the rest of the comment has meaning too. So I googled pig. It turns out that one was quite literal, just pig. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. If you're new and you haven't already and you'd like to see some more videos of mine, hit that subscribe button, and why not tickle that little bell down by the subscribe button if you want to be notified every time I post. Your phone will notify you about twice a year. And that's it from me, the Pig Barn Witch, this week, and I will see you next week with another video. Bye!